Well, good morning. Welcome to everyone, and thank you for all taking time to attend this inaugural Taste Council Food Summer School. Politics and the arts in Ireland have become national institutions recognised by both the body politic and the media, and have been huge success to date. The Food Summer School is destined to be no different. Recently published IFA UCD study makes the argument that farms are not only important to the agricultural economy, but to the wider national economy. Referring to the multiplier effect from agriculture, the report finds that of every €100 worth of agricultural output, €72 is produced in the wider economy. The middle agriculture model emphasises the need for what might be called a nouveau form of cooperative, to be underpinned, in the most part, by principles of governance and sustainability.
If we get rid of the family farm, we're going to lose the food story. We'll have less of the food story, the traditions of rural Ireland.
Scale and intensity will not solve the problems of these farmers. It might be part of the solution, but it certainly won't solve their problems.
We've got to get farmers reacting, give them the incentives, but make them do it themselves as well. And that's changing the culture. I think that's as important as anything else at the moment.
And an association such as ours has one objective, is to try and add value, put money in farmers' pockets, put money into the rural economy, and certainly any ideas that come from today, we'll take on board and take back to the IFA and see what we can do on your behalf.
I'm wondering about barriers to bringing middle agriculture in. I'm wondering whether you could comment maybe on whether processing power could be seen as a barrier.
My view of the processors is I would love to develop an industry where I'd be phoning a factory and say, I want you to process X many lambs for my group. What are you going to charge me? Yeah. And we have them already marketed. That, to me, is the functioning of what processing the existing plants that are in the country.
We are price setters, not takers. We are very transparent in our policy and the charges we need, but for that, I think, is one of the key aspects of Irish farming in the future. We have to have a proper level of cost of production and be transparent and get the right money for our product.
We need to have, we've got farmers, we've got chefs. What we need are a few gourmets who can tell the difference between a really good food and one that is trying to be good.
Is to start young enough. And we're talking today about the transition year programme rarely, but we've had incredible success through Slow Food Ireland, little project we have down in East Cork, where we linked in with 9 local schools, and each of them has a school garden, and they teach the children how to grow things and how to make compost. We send a chicken coop with 2 hens to each of the schools, so the children themselves learn how to look after hens and how eggs are produced, and the manure goes back onto the compost to go back into the garden. And the response we've got from the teachers and from the parents is incredible. And in one school alone, last year, 20 parents, when the kids went home saying, "Mammy, Mammy," got hens at home, and 35 parents started to grow vegetables. So you can get the kids, they would eat anything that they grow. So I know the chair is not meant to go on about a whole lot of stuff like that, but now, but I've seen it with my own eyes, the difference it can make. It's so easy to get people fired up, and then all the bits connect up.
Homegrown food as sort of the silver bullet to a lot of the problems that we have in the food chain, because when people, I think Doreen sort of alluded to this, when people, go through the experience of growing something, it doesn't matter whether they're, self-sufficient or just growing some herbs on a balcony. Once they have that experience, they start to understand seasonality. They understand that it's not natural to see a butternut squash in a supermarket in April. And so as consumers and people that grow their own food invariably still have to be consumers, like I do myself. They go to a supermarket or a farmer's market, they tend to make better decisions. They seek out local food, they seek out seasonal food, you know, they make more patriotic decisions, I suppose, as consumers, which is good news, I think, for the domestic food industry here.
In lower secondary is being reformed now, and we want more bottom-up creativity and innovation in schools. So as well as subjects, there'll be short courses which are going to be 100 hours long, broadly equivalent to half a subject. And again, that's going to create a new opportunity for this kind of development.
It's onus on all the agencies, including Teagasc, Bord Bia, BIM, etc., to come together and really do form a coherent strategy.
I would think that by focusing on the primary school, we're developing end users of the future, which is what we're all after. I think we should forget about the Department of Education, forget about everybody else. If we want anything done, like we've done in our own business, we've got to develop end users of the future, and we've got to do that ourselves.
We need people to start thinking about the role food plays in their life, and to focus on quality rather than quantity. Like, people spend a fortune on cosmetics to make themselves look well, whereas if they thought a bit more about what they're eating, they'd look even better.
What we mean by brand is reputation, nothing more and nothing less. An umbrella brand is a collective reputation for everybody, a unified reputation. And this Food Brand Ireland is a brand that will communicate the collective reputation of the industry. It is not about a device to go on product. So the identity for Food from Ireland was developed initially around the concept of words that represent place or sense of place in food, and eventually then a change in the script or font to be clearer, and an evolution to the concept of Taste Ireland.
I've been at hundreds of sessions like this in different countries around the world around, identity and marketing, and everybody has an opinion about logos, etc. The logo is the least important thing here. The most important thing is how we put it all together and how the industry actually works to change the reputation that is out there. And that is a long-term, serious exercise. The marketing, the logo part of it is only a kind of a stitching together, if you like. In the end, this is about behaviour of everybody in the room and the other industry sectors as well.
We're ahead of the posse. So if we're ahead of the posse, then we should take full advantage of that and deliver on the promise. And if we're making the promise, then it's incumbent on all of us to deliver on that promise.
And it's the lack of understanding between the food sector, agri-sector, and the hospitality sector is where I'm finding every day industries falling down. So the more and more that there is a cohesive join-up between our two government departments and our agencies to deliver to what I call a food lover or an international food tourist, the more successful we'll be. But I firmly believe that we have to look at a long-term vision, not short-term, and our agri-sector is currently driving that.
Does something like Food Brand Ireland threaten artisans as such, because it's a bigger kind of picture? But an analogy I drew very quickly was just the idea of the three-masted ship. You've got your mainsail, you've got your jib, but you've also got your spinnaker. They all work together to kind of power the boat forward. And I think we agreed really that, in relation to Food Brand Ireland, it is a remarkable opportunity, and it's a great opportunity to tell the stories coming from all sectors of the agriculture, and to harness the goodwill towards Irish agriculture, which is out there for all of our benefit.
So there is responsibility on us all, and there is responsibility on within the farming community themselves, who are providing leaders like Dennis, to start to put their chests out, be proud of the food that they are already producing, and bring that message out in the food that they provide.
There was several people talked about having gardens in schools at all different levels. So there was an aspiration of having a garden in every school, not just in the national schools and in secondary schools, but also in the catering colleges and so on. So the kids could learn how food is produced, how to grow the food and taste it, and get from the tiniest children excited about eating things. It's amazing when they are involved in growing something, how they will eat all kinds of things that normally their parents wouldn't even reckon they would eat.
The overall point is that the Food Brand Ireland is a very strong proposition which needs to be communicated. And I'm usually the guy who comes up with hyperbole, so I was delighted to hear Una coming up with the word remarkable. We have remarkable food and drink. Not just, and we're using that term as regards the beginning of a discussion So I suppose, if you like, even for somebody like me who's been writing about Irish food for 20 years, I'm delighted when the discussion keeps on re-happening in different sectors and on different levels and with different ideas.
We have had really a deep level of engagement right throughout the day, and the passion that all of these artisan producers have came out in buckets right throughout the morning and afternoon sessions.
That actually the food sector is and must be a political priority in terms of economic growth, along with tourism. They were the two areas that were particularly singled out for mention and for priority. And that says to me that the work that you're doing, the work that Aidan is doing, the work that all of the different elements that make up the Irish food sector is now very much at the heart of government thinking at the very, very top.
I mean, I'm going away with my head absolutely buzzing, and I've got a lot to think about with cooperatives, and I'm delighted about the middle farmer being mentioned because there's so many of them. In fact, I come from that background, and I feel sure that there is a way forward for all of them. They just have to be shown it.